Nathan was our third child, and he was the baby of the family, and he was, his kindergarten teacher described him as being a very spiritual child, even before he got sick.
I was 37 years old, so I was considered high risk. And before I even knew if he was a boy, which I was really waiting on a boy, I learned that he was sick.
7 months after my father had his stroke, he passed away. It was painful. It was, he anguished.
They told me after we went through the test and everything, I took some time to try to figure out if I was going to proceed in the pregnancy or not, because there was like some people do abort. That wasn't an option for me.
He tolerated it all so well, and such a great attitude, and didn't give us a hard time about all of his doctor's appointments and his chemo and getting poked and radiation, the whole thing. He was very, very brave.
My mother, she went into the hospital for pneumonia, and when she got in the hospital, we found that for the first time that she had other problems.
They didn't know what to do with us at the hospital because they said, you'll get 2 hours if you're lucky. And I just remember preparing myself mentally for this next step.
But ultimately they did a follow-up MRI, and they saw a small area of progression in his brainstem. And that was when we had the hard talk from our neuro-oncologist that there wasn't anything else that we could do. The best thing we could do for Nathan would be to take him home with hospice, which is not words any parent ever wants to hear.
And we were quite shocked and surprised that the physicians told us that our mother would have at most 6 months to live. And then a day or two later, it was 6 weeks to live. And then within a day, it was about 6 days to a week.
But then Deetra came to the hospital. And I don't know. She gave me her phone number, she sat there with me, and it was just good for somebody to say, I know how you feel. Because she knew. And that's what I needed. Because then nobody else knew how I felt. Because you have a baby, your baby not sick. So you don't really know how we feel. But she did.
We got home Friday afternoon, and they were here. They met with us. We met with an intake nurse first who just got us set up.
Mother asked that she go on hospice, and we honored her wishes. The hospice chaplain came in, met with my mother, with us, my brother and my sisters. My mother clearly was aware of what the situation was.
I told the Lord, I said, I don't know how, I understand that he's sick, and I accept that. But what I don't know is how I'm gonna leave the hospital without a baby. And so he allowed me to go home with Sebastian. And we had him for 63 days. I counted every day.
You know, you think of hospice as just a way to help you die, but they weren't. That obviously they were helping us along that path, but their goal was to get him to his best and hope to get him to a baseline, and hoping that his best was better than where he was when he came home from the hospital, that maybe with adjusting medications and doing other things that we'd be able to get him to a better quality of life than he had at that point in time.
Then I met Alan. Alan was the hospice nurse. And I wrestled with a hospice nurse. I don't want that. But they were the best family that I had, because they didn't look at Sebastian like he was gonna die.
She asked that she pass peacefully and painlessly. And in addition to that, she asked for strength, pray for strength, and pray for forgiveness. The chaplain honored her wishes, lifted up prayer, asked for those 4 things. My mother clearly understood what was going on, and within 3 days, she pretty much went into a diabetic coma.
But our child life specialist was important for me, and for our other 2 children. Also worked with them to see where they were and how they were feeling, and to educate them about what was happening. And she was also our memory maker. She made early on made a thumbprint necklace for us, and a plaster Paris hand replica, and things that were and are really important now that he's gone.
That Monday, unfortunately, he did pass after 63 days, but those 63 days were great, where we had birthday parties, we laughed. It was just amazing.
She wanted to go home. That was one of her requests, that she wanted to pass in her living room. So we went home 3 days later. All of our family was with her. The hospice people the hospice nurse, the hospice folks were incredible in sharing with us what was happening and how my mother's health was deteriorating and at what stage that she was passing. And that was it was good. It helped us understand what to expect. It helped support us. It helped us understand what was happening. My mother passed 4 days later with all my brother and sisters and grandchildren around her. She was peaceful, she was calm, and she was painless.
They assured us, that we were going to be able to handle this, and it just felt good to know we weren't alone in that process. But as Nathan's breathing became more and more difficult, I told my husband that I really wanted to hold him. He was in the hospital bed, and my husband said, "You need to do that. You need to hold him. That's where he started, and that's where he'll finish, is in your arms." And so, we just got complete support about that we needed to do what was right for our family. And he picked him up and put him in my arms, and he struggled for a while longer, maybe an hour and a half or so. At the end of that hour and a half, it was clear he was about to take his last breath, and on his last breath, he smiled at everybody twice. 2 big smiles. Like the first one, we were like, did he smile? And then he did it again, just to let us know that he was okay, that he was gone, but he was gone to a better place, and that this fight was over. So
They were a great benefit to me. I will always be grateful.
We'll be forever grateful. The hospice, the folks the nurse, the chaplain, the support staff that helped us, help my mother leave this world peacefully and gracefully and with dignity, and helped give my family strength and awareness of what was going on.